Nice. Perfect timing. Alright. Let me just fill my tea. There we go. Alright. Morning traders. It is Friday, May 17th. Taking a look at the news, there is pretty much nothing. We don't have any big news today. We have this orange folder. Could have a little bit of impact. Could have nothing. So, nothing big this to end the week. Let's hop on over to TradingView. Let's take a look at some of the folders we're following. So USDCHF. So we ended up hitting profit on this limit order from 2 days ago. Price is starting to come back up. It's finally at about break even for the second trade. Again, the profit for both, or the exit for both of these trades is break even for the first trade, so roughly about 91225. So if price is to come up to 91225, that is the exit price. So we get out for the first trade break even, second trade in profit. S&P, this is our sell position from here. We're still in this trade from yesterday. I think it hit the limit order roughly around noon my time, so standard Pacific time. GCAD, we are still in this GCAD trade. We have a second limit sell up here, so there is a second position just right here, and the anticipation is that if price does come up to this level, it'll come back down. Now, I know it looks like it triggered here, but it did not. So there's no trigger here, otherwise we would have hit this position when price came up here and then got out of this position right around here. So we are still in this first position. It's still in a little bit of drawdown. EURCAD. I think 795. Yeah, we're slowly coming out of this position now. So we got into this first position, got into this second position. When we got out of this second position here at 9, we had forgotten to change the limit order on the first position. So the first position was meant to get out of break even. Forgot to change that. It was still out at profit down here. So when price came up, second position closed in profit, first position didn't close. Price came up, changed. I changed the price point for that first position, and now we should be getting out pretty soon. Taking a look at some of our limit orders. EURGBP, we have buy and sell limits. AUDNZD, we have buy and sell limits. NZDCAD, I think we have a sell limit at the top here. USDCAD, we have a sell limit at the top here. And GBPCHF, no positions. We're just kind of keeping an eye, monitoring it to see how it plays out. Looks like it's going to break into these highs. I don't anticipate we're going to want to sell. I think there's just too much of a negative swap on most of the Swiss pairs to try to get into a sell unless it's looks like an exceptionally good setup. So just going to quickly jump through some of these guys, see if there aren't any more positions that have opened up. I don't think so. I mean, you can do a quick scan of the market, see, this is why I like to have the change and the change percentage available here on the side. It lets me do a quick scan of the market to see how much pips most of these guys have moved, and looks like quite a few of them have moved less than 10 to 15 pips overall. Which just suggests to me that we're not really seeing much change in the patterns that are displayed. Especially if you're looking at a macro, say 1 hour view. If something's probably only moved about 100 or 10 pips, then the likelihood of it forming anything on the macro view is very, very unlikely. Not to say you couldn't be able to scalp on the 1 minute, but it's just not something we've done in a while. Right, so yeah, that's sort of it. Briefly scanned through, didn't see any important chart patterns pointing up. Didn't see price approaching any significant resistance or support areas. So you could wonder, based on the strategy I've been using, how I didn't short here on NZDCHF, and I'm not trying to short here at the top of GBPCHF. I try to add a second level of underlying interest rate swap values to my decisions. So typically speaking, something like GBPCHF, if I quickly look at my broker, if I go, the swap long on my broker for GBPCHF is $7.5. So if I believe, and I could be wrong on this, but I believe if you trade a single lot size, if you trade a single lot size and you hold the position overnight, you make $7.5 on a long position. If you sell it and you sell a lot size, you lose about $14. if it goes over on the day. And so for every day that you're for every day you're still in position when you're on a long side, you're making money, and for every day you're in the position on the short side, you're losing money. And so let's just have an imaginary position. Let's just say you sold here, maybe even here. Doing pretty simply what I do. So you got into the position here at this high, roughly, and you're targeting 220, and stop loss is irrelevant. If price continues up, and let's just say you finally get into another sell, I don't know, here, you make a little bit of money, and you decide to finally get out at break even on this trade, this is still holding the negative swap for 11 days. So even though you got out of the trade at break even because you sold here and covered here, you still lose money on the 11 days of negative swap. Whereas, let's just go for a bad buy position. Let's just say for some reason you decide to buy here. I don't know, we'll go a little higher. You bought here on this breakout, you're chasing 30 pips. Price doesn't quite reach your profit level, it rejects, it rejects, it rejects. Finally, it comes over here. Now, you had to weather at one point 280 pips in drawdown. But if you could weather that 280 pips in drawdown, you also made a month's worth of swap in addition to the profit. So really, really bad, just pointed examples, but you kind of get the idea. Which is why buying this pullback, weathering this drawdown, price eventually comes back up, and we end up taking the profit of the trade as well as the extra swap on the trade. So that's sort of my added level of confluence, is trying, you don't always get it, there aren't a lot of pairs that provide swap. Probably going long on yen pairs, or sorry, going short on yen pairs and going short on Swiss pairs are probably the two guaranteed setups to get swap, but there are other ones. Selling EURCAD gets you some swap. Occasionally selling AUDNZD gets you swap. But anyways, I digress. Every broker is a little bit different. Some will provide different levels of swap. I know I've looked. I trade on, or I have traded between two different brokers, and I've noticed that their swaps are slightly different. So it's obviously broker dependent. But it does add a little bit of extra wins to the trade sometimes. Anywho, I think that's it for the day. There's not much trade opportunities out right now. We will not, I won't be here next week. I'll be away on vacation. I might trade next Friday, but probably not. We'll likely end up picking up again in 2 weeks. So last week of May is when I will stream again. Alright, good luck traders. Hope you're having a good Friday. And I hope you're staying profitable.